Here are the drawing steps and the cutting and gluing steps for your Ted Harrison inspired polar bear. You're going to begin your drawing checking that your paper is the correct direction, and you're going to start your line and stop your line, the kind of hill shape you create. It should be about 2 fingers from each edge. So start about 2 fingers from the edge, and you're going to draw a really big hill that goes up not quite to the top of your paper. This will be the top of your polar bear's head and part of your polar bear's body. Then you will start adding the ears by creating kind of a rainbow shape and checking to make sure that a couple fingers fit in there, and then another kind of rainbow shape to make the inside of the ear. And you'll make another one that is in about the same location on the other side of the head, also making sure that it is large enough. To start adding details on the face, we're going to add a pretty big oval in the middle of your polar bear's face. And when you're done drawing the oval, check to make sure that you can fit about 3 fingers in that space. And then you'll add another oval for the nose, kind of near the bottom of this oval. Check the location, and that should be a pretty good size oval as well. And then a straight vertical line coming down from the nose, and a smiley face. Then you'll add 2 small circles for the eyes. These ones are pretty small. Your finger will probably cover these ones. Next, we will add the arms of our polar bear by adding kind of a tall U shape. So start on that line on the side of your polar bear's belly and swoop around to create that U shape, checking to make sure that it's large enough. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side, except it will just be backwards. It'll be a different direction, but the same kind of U shape. Then grab a black marker and carefully and slowly trace over all of your gray pencil lines that you see. When you get to the eyes, you will trace around that circle and then color it in. So trace around and then color it in. Same thing when you eventually get to the nose, you'll trace the nose oval and then you will carefully color it in. For our final detail on our polar bears, you're going to add dashed lines that create texture for fur. Remember, texture is how something feels, or in artwork, sometimes it's just the idea of how something feels. Maybe it doesn't actually feel like fur or pokey or things like that. So we are just creating lines to give the idea that our bear has fur. And that's all our steps for drawing our polar bear. If you still need to finish your background, you're going to do that first, and then you'll be ready for the cutting and gluing steps. Make sure that you're holding your scissors correctly. Your thumb goes in the small hole and it's always on top, so a thumbs up. And remember, no chicken wings while you are cutting. Start by doing what I'm going to call is a bubble cut around your polar bear, so you're not cutting right next to the black line yet. Remember, your hand holding the paper turns the paper. You can always adjust the hand holding the paper. So I moved my hand and I'm keeping my scissors kind of in the same spot, and I'm moving my hand not holding the scissors to help turn my paper in the direction I would like. So cutting a bubble cut, leaving a little bit of white space around my polar bear to start. Then I'm going to go back and cut right next to my black line. And it just makes it much easier to turn around the small areas when I don't have as much paper in the way of my hand. As long as your background is dry when you pat it with your hands, you are ready to glue it down, lining up the bottom of your polar bear with the bottom of your paper. Remember to twist your glue open and make small dots going all around the edge. Very, very small dots. They shouldn't be too close together so they don't squash out when you press them down on your paper. And as I said, you're lining up the bottom of your paper and your polar bear so it doesn't look like your polar bear is floating. And that's all the steps. Have fun.